The reasons that Filipinos might drive you a little crazy. Tagalog and English are the official languages of the Philippines, plus there are 8 major languages and over 120 languages and dialects. It's common for Filipinos to juggle multiple languages in conversations, switching from Tagalog to English to Cebuano or Kapampangan, sometimes within the same sentence. And we'll even use our lips to give you directions. It's our famous lip point because most of us are super approachable. And that's because Filipinos love to yak-yak. We love talking, chatting, texting, and making yak-yaks with everyone. The power of silence. Filipinos are famous for doing something called tampo. It simply means sulking or silent treatment. In our culture, we avoid direct confrontation at all costs. So most Filipinos learn how to use silence as a weapon at a young age. If a Filipina is quiet, it simply means she's just avoiding having a confrontation with you. She's mad about something but she doesn't want to say it. Just go into tampo, here's what you do. Just give her space. If you did something wrong then, apologize. But don't try to fix her tampo. Just let it run its course. The key is not to reward this behavior. That's where most guys go wrong. Their Filipino will give them the silent treatment for a day or maybe several days and then they'll reward her with shopping, a nice meal, or even a vacation. And all that does, it teaches her to give you the silent treatment whenever she wants something. But the majority of Filipinos don't act this way. And if your girlfriend goes into tampo regularly, then that's a sign that you need to break up. The plus side to all of this is that most Filipinas aren't going to raise their voice at you. So if you're looking for a girlfriend or wife who's not going to shout at you, then Filipinas are your best bet.
What do people get wrong about you? A lot, actually. Probably the biggest thing people get wrong is that I'm not westernized just because I speak fluent English and I get your sense of humor. I'm just a girl from the province that studied your culture. So what? I'm actually very traditional. I'm not a feminist. I want to get married and have kids. And I'm happy to be a stay-at-home wife who washes my husband's clothes and cooks dinner every night. I believe in staying together through thick and thin, till death do us part. And I don't mind at all if my husband leads the way. What's so westernized about that? And if they're talking about the fact that I reference a lot of Western movies, that's because we watch them here. Just like a lot of people watch Korean movies. But does that make them Korean? Of course not.
Do you want the latest information for Philippine expats and expat bloggers? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to this Sunday's edition of Expat News, where I cover the latest stories and events affecting expats and the expat blogger community in the Philippines. Well, hi, I'm Eric, and welcome to my Island Expats channel. Just as a reminder, these Expat News videos come out first thing Sunday mornings U.S. time. So let's start this week's edition with some recent highlights happening for both expats and expat vloggers in the Philippines.
China's claims in South China Sea are invalid tribunal rules in victory for the Philippines. The Philippines achieved a monumental ethical triumph on Tuesday as an international tribunal declared that China's assertions of historic rights over an expansive region of the South China Sea hold no legal merit. The Permanent Court of Arbitration, seated in The Hague, Netherlands, further decreed that none of the land features scattered across the South China Sea, regardless of who governs them, possess sufficient size or stature to justify exclusive maritime entitlements extending beyond 12 nautical miles. In a bid to substantiate its territorial ambitions, China has, in recent years, transformed isolated reefs into artificial islands of considerable scale. These expansions have emboldened Chinese fishing fleets to encroach upon territories claimed by neighboring nations, notably the Philippines, exacerbating regional tensions. The Tribunal of 5 judges concluded that China's island construction endeavors contravened the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. Furthermore, it condemned China's actions in obstructing Filipino fishers from accessing their ancestral fishing areas, characterizing these acts as clear violations of the convention. The panel also criticized China for inflicting environmental harm in ways deemed incompatible with UNCLOS mandates. While the ruling marks a significant legal and moral victory, the Philippines lacks an immediate mechanism to enforce it. The practical implications remain uncertain. Analysts suggest the decision may compel Manila and Beijing to return to diplomatic negotiations or inspire other nations to pursue similar legal pathways. Beyond China and the Philippines, several other nations, Taiwan, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei, lay competing claims to portions of the South China Sea, a region abundant in marine life and endowed with significant natural wealth, including oil and gas reserves. Nations emulate the Philippines in challenging Beijing's sweeping claims. The tribunal concluded that China had violated the Philippines' sovereign rights within its exclusive economic zone, EEZ. Among the cited infractions were China's interference with Philippine fishing and petroleum exploration, the construction of artificial islands, and its failure to prevent Chinese fishermen from exploiting resources in the zone. The court further ruled that China's artificial island building activities on 7 features in the Spratly Islands inflicted serious damage to the coral reef ecosystems, breaching its duty to protect fragile environments.
And the issues with the ash, of course, it can you don't want to breathe it. It can harm your lungs and your eyes, and do damage if it lands on your vehicles, and can do damage to livestock, crops, water bodies. Like a 6-kilometer exclusion zone, I believe, around the volcano right now. That could be extended. I think they've raised the alert level from 1 to a 2 recently, and now I think it's alert level 3. I'm not exactly sure if that's the exclusion zone, how many kilometers or miles away from the volcano you have to be, which buried a number of cities back in the early, like 70 something AD, I believe, and they're still excavating parts of that. But yeah, you don't want to, that could be in the thousands of degrees, that hot ash going up. You do not want to be anywhere close to that. And yeah, different from a different angle, looks quite different than the video that we had from Phil Volks, the government agency. So no doubt there will be many people who will be evacuated off of those farms and smaller villages, towns near the volcano. These volcanoes often give a little bit of warning, but not always. They don't always, like Taal volcano in Batangas. There you go. She's got these specks. Fortunately, they are not hot, apparently, when they hit her hand.
In a significant development that has taken both the Philippines and international observers by surprise, the United States has handed over 10 A-10 Thunderbolt T aircraft, popularly known as Warthogs, to the Philippine Air Force PAC. The unexpected transfer was announced during a low-key ceremony at an undisclosed Philippine air base on December 10, 2024. The A-10 Warthogs, renowned for their rugged design and ground attack capabilities, were delivered as part of a strategic effort to enhance the Philippines' defensive and offensive capabilities. This move comes amid growing tensions in the South China Sea, where the Philippines faces territorial challenges. Philippine military officials expressed both surprise and gratitude at the handover, with PAF Chief Lieutenant General Mariano Rice stating, "These aircraft represent a monumental boost to our capability to protect our sovereignty and respond to various threats." The delivery was unexpected, as prior discussions about such military transfers had not been publicly disclosed. The A-10 Warthog, a staple of the U.S. Air Force for decades, is designed for close air support missions. It is armed with the iconic Dow-8 Avenger rotary cannon, capable of unleashing devastating firepower against ground targets. Its durability and effectiveness in combat have made it a legend among military aircraft.
I have known Mark since probably, I want to say 2019. Actually, when I first met him, I was I think I went to Paul Old Dog's compound where he was living when I first arrived in Dumaguete for the first time to live. And I believe Mark was living in the same compound. I met him. At that time, he hadn't done YouTube, and he was actually surviving off Social Security and teaching English online. I think it was Palfish, or I can't remember what it was, for like $10 an hour. And he actually had a lot of questions about YouTube, and Paul and I were both doing YouTube at that time, both of us extremely small channels at that time. In fact, when I first met Paul, I think we both had around maybe 3,000 subscribers. Fast forward, Paul's over 100, and I'm hitting about 70 now. And Mark was on his way to 100,000. But Mark had asked a lot of questions about YouTube, and and he started it. And I think he started pre-pandemic, if I remember right, because to be honest, there was not a lot of really vloggers around. Even when I first moved to the Philippines and when I researched the Philippines, when you searched for the Philippines on YouTube, only about 3 vloggers really popped up. Ned's Philippines Dream or something like that, and Rike, of course, and Bud Brown, maybe 1 or 2 others, possibly. Paul and I came on the scene after, and even when Paul and I came on the scene, there really was nobody else either. It was just really a handful of us. And Mark came a little bit after, but Mark has been around for a while, and unfortunately, if you haven't heard the news, Mark suffered a stroke and fell into unconsciousness and at the hospital, and he just never regained conscious, and he passed away, I guess, sometime yesterday. Also confirmed by his brother and his mother and people around him here that I know personally. But, Mark and I both did videos on each other's channel. My ex-girlfriend at the time did a video. Maya did a video with Mark's wife, and she did a video on Maya's channel. And although we were never really close friends, we did meet up, and chat over coffee sometimes. It's sad because Mark was just about 70. I believe he was 69, maybe 70. I'm thinking 69. Really still kind of newly married, and just had a baby, which is the sad thing, that the son's going to grow up really not knowing dad. He can see him through his videos, which is kind of a cool thing, I suppose, on the YouTube, is he can at least see what kind of a person his father was and everything. So anyway, here's to you, Mark. It's sad to see. I'm leaving Dumaguete. Mark has passed. That really leaves the one main player, really, which is Paul Old Dog. He's really one of the originals. I guess I would consider myself one of the originals as well. And I'm leaving Dumaguete, as you know, next month.
And now it's time for the video of the week. This is where I give you a summarized version of one of the best videos I came across in the entire week. So let's take a look.
Tubbataha means exposed reef at low tide, gets its name for grounding ships throughout the decades. In 1993, the UNESCO declared the Tubbataha Reefs a national park as a World Heritage Site. As well, in 2008, the reef was nominated as a new 7 Wonders of Nature. And here's why. Ever since I arrived in the Philippines, this has been my #1 bucket list to visit. And this is the day we're actually going. I can't explain the excitement, my emotion was going through my mind and body right now. This is it, you know. The water temperature reports we've been getting is around 29 degrees, so it's very hot right now. So we'll see how much we see on this trip, because usually if you want to see the pelagic animals such as Welsh shark type species, they like to be in a slightly colder water. So if we see any of those, we'll be super lucky due to the temperature right now. Going to the boat. Thank you. Yes. So that's our boat. Large steel boat. I'm so excited, guys. Everybody's on the boat. I think it's around 16 guests, mostly Filipinos actually. Off we go, first time, Jesse Beach and Reef. Very excited, a little bit nervous. It's probably just the excitement.
One, two, three, go!
The great thing about this trip is we started our dives from the less popular sites and worked up to the best dive sites. And considering this was our least favorite dive, it had better wildlife and marine biodiversity than any other dive site I've previously visited in the Philippines. Tubbataha has over 96,000 hectares of protected seascape, with over 360 species of coral and over 700 species of fish. No other place on the planet has as many species when it comes to large sharks, rays, fishes, and corals in the same area. Hands down, the best dive I've ever done in the Philippines. Sharks, groupers, schools of jacks, masked booby, greater crest tern, and the red-footed booby. Here you can see thousands of them on the South Atoll. For me, that might be one of the best dives I've ever done in the Philippines. They keep topping each other here, Tubbataha, but the guys are saying this was nothing compared to usual because there was almost no current. But the amount of fish, this is like almost like Ampat in terms of fish life. We just need a little bit more current, and then the bigger sharks come out. But reef sharks, gray reef sharks, white tip, black tip, the schools of fish, like this is just the size of everything, like the barrel sponges, everything is on steroids here.
Let's finish up this week with the Expat Lightning Round. Where I quickly cover interesting clips from expat-related channels.
Have you ever banned anyone on your channel, and what did they do that crossed the line? Well, yes, I've banned people, but not for disagreeing with me or even for insulting me. They can do what they want to. It's usually for outright lying about things I've said or done, even after I gave them the proof that they're just plain wrong. But they continue posting the same crap. I've also banned people for scammer links that take you to fake websites. And I've also banned a few people for racist comments or for really obscene language. But you can disagree with me all you want. I actually enjoy a good debate, so go for it. But first, you gotta ask yourself a question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do ya? Punk. Going back to school? That's really low on my priority list. Although I really wanted to be a lawyer, but I guess, oh well. What type of man are you attracted to? Alpha, beta, sigma, gamma, etc. Well, I'm not sure how much faith I put in those kind of labels, but if I had to choose, I'd say a sigma, the strong, silent type. Alphas can sometimes be too loud and obnoxious for me. Not every alpha though, but a lot of them. So I tend to prefer the quiet, intelligent guy who stands up for himself and for me as well. But that's not set in stone. I'm sure there are good guys from all types. With all you've accomplished, what are you most proud of? I think I'd have to say building my family a home. That's a promise I made as a little girl, and I was always determined to keep it. I knew my parents would probably never be able to afford a real house, like, a concrete house. So it made me feel really proud to actually build one for them. That's their forever home. And now I don't have to worry about it blowing away in a typhoon. And I know my mom is safe. Promise made, promise kept. How tall is too tall? There's not really a height limit, really. I'm 5'5", and about 2 inches taller than me is fine. So you have to be at least 5'7" to ride the ride. Smart or handsome? Smart, any day of the week. Nothing beats intelligence for me. Not necessarily book smarts, just someone that can keep up. Like when you're watching a movie with somebody and halfway through they say, now who's that guy again? And you're like, that's the main character, the one you've been watching for the last hour? I want someone that can tell me what's going on. Younger or older? I usually prefer guys over 50. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, she's just saying that. But if a hot young guy came along, she's probably going to change her mind. But no, I actually think older men are more attractive. And when I get married, I'll prove it to you.
Well, my name is Michael. I came from Toronto, Canada, essentially, Mississauga area.
Oh, that's where I'm from.
Yes,
But
it
I knew
is.
that. You knew that too.
Small world, brother.
All right, man. What are you doing here in Rojas, Iloilo?
Well, this is actually Rojas Capiz, the next province from Iloilo, but it's very close. It's about 2.5 hour drive from Iloilo City to get here to the border of like an hour. When I lived in Iloilo City for about 1 year and 8 months, and then before that in Boracay for 8 months. And both of those places had parts of what I wanted out of my life, being here in the Philippines. And what was I looking for when I left Canada, the cold, cold Canada? And I love the beach, but I also like conveniences. You grow up in the Western world, you kind of get used to a lot of things, and you want to keep those things if possible. And Iloilo City gave me all of the modern things I was looking for. Boracay, living there, gave me the beach. But there's not really a lot of the conveniences that you're looking for. So when I found out about Rojas City, and it was by accident, I was vlogging at the Mango Festival in Guimaras, and the mayor invited me to come to his city. He's like, you got to come and see this. And so I came, and I spent a week here, and I fell in love, and that was it, because it had all those checkboxes that I wanted. I wanted to live on a beach and be near an airport and be near the malls and things like that I can get. But have that, it's almost like a provincial life, but a provincial beach type life, but within the city. And I don't know, I've been all over the Philippines, I feel like. There's, some places I've missed, I'm sure, but I haven't found anything else like this. And still affordable. You can find it in maybe Tanglao, maybe something like that, but you're going to pay 4, 5, 6 times the amount of money that it is to live here. So it kind of is all the check boxes. So that's why I picked it, and I love it here.
Hey, well, are you here by yourself? Are you with someone? What's the relationship status like?
Well, I'm in a newer relationship, I guess you could say. I was April or May of this year that we started dating. It kind of went really, really fast because she needed a place to live. And so I helped her get a place to live. And when I did that, I was in the transition of trying to find a place to live and everything. And so I rented a temporary house sort of thing, or backup house. It was only 10,000 pesos a month. And I said, okay, you need a place to live. We weren't really dating or anything. She didn't seem interested anyway. And I said, but she was needing a place to live badly. She ran into a situation. So I said, okay, well, I spend too much time traveling. I'm never home. Go ahead and you be my housekeeper, whatever. Take care of the house. You cook when I'm there. You do my laundry when I'm there, that kind of thing. There's 2 bedrooms here. You and your daughter can have one. I gave her the master bedroom, everything. Well, then once we lived together for about a month, between my traveling and everything, we got to know each other and everything. And kind of the rest is history, because when I found the house here, I invited her to join me here, and we've been a couple ever since. So it just happened. It just worked out that way.
So that will do it for this edition of Expat News. If you're interested in seeing travel-related videos that often include places and life and beauty of the Philippines, then please check out my other channel, Life Across the Sea, where I cover faraway places, people, and culture. Be sure to like and subscribe, and hit the notifications button so you can be notified of future videos once they're available. I'm always interested in your thoughts on these expat news and other videos, so please let me know in the comments section your thoughts of this edition. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.